change. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Heard you get into it. Well, let's talk about it. All day in the bank. Let's talk about it. Spend a few checks talking cheap change. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hey, Renee.
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ladies Room Live. We're having some vibrations going on. Somebody's echoing.
Turn off your computer, Teri. Turn
You got two browsers open? We can't hear you.
Now we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
I'm getting this echo. I'm so sorry, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but it's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible.
But you got two browsers open?
Oh, I know why you can't hear me. Oh, this is weird. Do you guys see me twice?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something happening. I'm so sorry, guys. I
Oh,
don't
yeah, now I see you twice.
That's okay. Two Terrys are better than one. It's fine.
Now you're muted.
Can't hear.
Can't hear you, Teri.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Can't hear.
Turn your volume up on your Mac.
Maybe when I do this, I'm not sure what's happening. This is really bad, guys. Can you hear me? Maybe if I go back a little bit.
Yeah.
In echo.
And yeah, I'm hearing some echo.
I'm not sure what to do about that.
Is your desktop still
Set
turned
up your
on?
desktop and keep the Mac open.
Is that better?
Yes. But you still got an echo.
but it's better.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Let's keep the show rolling. Terry's having technical difficulties. Let's keep the show rolling.
Fair enough.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Pam, you got this?
Well, let's give her another second or so.
Oh. Mm.
Okay, I'm back. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, everybody. I'm so sorry for these technical difficulties. This is terrible. I apologize. I'm Teri Denine, writer, producer, content creator, and I'm just so happy that you guys, I hope you're still with us. We didn't lose you. But we are the ladies that, you know, these are ladies that I know. They don't know each other. They're all strangers to each other. But I thought it fitting to do a social experiment, to bring everybody together and just kind of talk about some of the, you know, issues that we have as we go through our daily lives as women of color, things that we're setting out to explore, like a lot of the misnomers that are impressed upon us as women of color. So we like to talk about various topics in order to get to know each other, share different perspectives, and tonight we have a guest with us. Marvin Gibson is here to offer a male perspective. And Pamela Patino, our producer, is going to talk about what this show format's going to be tonight. And by the way, we just want to make a disclaimer and say that we are no professionals in any of the topics that we're going to be talking about. We are not experts. We're just women who have lived, loved, and lost. And we have some things to say. And so here we go.
So how's everybody doing tonight? I'm so glad that it felt like it was just yesterday that we talked about this relationship situation that was going on with our last guest, Heather and Lavelle. So I guess I just wanted to start by asking if you guys have any thoughts on the conversation yesterday, anything that we didn't cover or that you want to maybe touch on before we go into this week's conversation.
Yeah, we did have a lot that we didn't cover. There was still so much more to cover, as it happens when you talk about relationships. You know, we talked about infidelity. We talked about, why men cheat. That's the ever burning question. And I think that if you ask 100 people that question, you might get 100 different answers. But we, want to further explore some of these things.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess moving into this week, part 2 of our conversation about relationships and such. There's so many different things that we can talk about, but I guess one of the things that we could start with is talking about, I think, the relationship with, the relationship with men and women. And I think that let's see, how could I word this? I think the male's, I would love to hear the male's perspective. I don't know, I'm hearing feedback.
Yeah, there's feedback somewhere. It's not me this time, guys.
Maybe you can turn your volume down.
Me? Okay. All righty.
Okay.
So I guess we could start with the conversation that we had right before we started the show, talking about, I think, men, and because the ratio of men to women is a little bit on the, I guess, higher on the male side, where there are less men, but they have a lot more. I think there's so much going on. I'm hearing so much. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so yeah, because I keep hearing like a buzz. I'm sorry, but anyway, so I wanted to just talk about men and how they look at relationships with women as it relates to what I always hear, well, women talk about what type of man they're looking for, some of the things that they expect in a man. They have like a list of, I've seen lists that women actually have, they're looking for in a relationship. And then I also hear men say, well, okay, you want all of that, but what are you bringing to the table? And so I don't know if I know that some of us, there's some married women, some divorced, and some single/divorced. So I guess to hear everyone's thoughts on that, and then I would love to hear Marvin's thought on that as well, just to get the conversation started.
So you want me to start?
No, let's start with the ladies. Ladies first.
Exactly.
I'll start. So it's true. I've heard women, have this whole laundry list of what they want from a man, and he better have a good credit score, and he better make 6 figures, and he better have a 6-pack, and he better look this way and look that way. And honestly, if we're honest with ourselves, we need to look at ourselves. Like, what is your credit score? How much money do you actually have in the bank? What do you have going on? What about your career path? What about all that? Have you been successful in your career? Because we want all these things, but we have to be, equally yoked with our guy. Otherwise, I don't know how that would even work.
Yeah,
I agree with that. You definitely, if you're going to require certain things from your, potential mate, you should also have those things as well.
I think that's a little immaturity. I mean, some of those things, when you have such a long laundry list, it's not very realistic. I mean, nobody's perfect. And I just think that it kind of comes with age, I guess. Your priorities change, and you're not looking for the 6-pack because you don't have the 6-pack anymore. Let's be real. But and what does that really mean anyway? It doesn't have anything to do with anything. And as far as credit score, that can be fixed as long as the person is willing to work on it and, whatever. So I think some of those things come with maturity. I don't think the list necessarily has to be so long. I just think it's just somebody that I think you have to be friends first. I think that's the most important thing. If you can be friends, then you can get through all of the ups and downs and this, that, and the other of relationships. Because I don't know, sometimes I think people mistake love for, and it's actually lust. And I think there's a huge difference. And I think a lot of it just comes with maturity and age. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And the other side of it, is that, men will describe the woman they want. They want the perfect woman. She has to be beautiful. She has to be, slender, whatever. She has to be, all these things. And then I look at them, it's like, if you're not bringing that to the table, if you're not bringing that what you were asking for to the table, then I don't know.
Right.
This might be a good time to bring Marvin into the conversation.
Yes.
Go ahead. I want to hear what Marvin has to say.
Okay, first and foremost, to think that the person that you're going to be dealing with has everything that you have should go out the window, because nobody comes into a relationship with the same amount of money or the same goals and aspirations. What you need to do, or what people should be doing, is looking for someone who they can build with. You understand?
Right.
Can we understand? Instead of just saying, you got a bucket list, he got to have this, she got to have that. No, if you got to look at the person, like the other lady said, the young lady said, you got to let the person become friends. You have to really get to know somebody, because once you commit into a relationship, if things you start to see about that person after you get in that relationship turn you off, then you're going to leave, the man or the woman. But if you would know that, if you knew that person,
right.
You can't go moving in with nobody 6 months after you met them. You can't do none of that.
I agree.
Because 6 months after that, when he sees how you go to the bathroom and don't clean up behind yourself, or that you can't cook, or you notice something about him that you don't like, it starts to push you away, because you have such high expectations. You need this. He got to have a Benz.
Right.
He got to have a 6-figure job.
This is true.
Right.
Yep.
I have to,
like that.
Let's hear from Leora.
I have to agree with Marvin on the whole. You can't expect every other like the other person to have something that you have. So I think it goes back to the thing of being that you want to be with, because I was married before. When we first got married, like he was, and a few months into our marriage, he was like, "Oh, I don't like big women," and I was like, "Well, you're big." So I mean, he was overweight. So I was like, "Well, that's just not my." I don't find it attractive. I'm like, and he was like, I just think, women should keep up with themselves. I'm like, well, you have to keep up with yourself. He literally
exactly.
but I was like, that's not cool. Women, but I'm like, dude, you're huge. Like, sorry. So I mean, it goes back to your expectations. It's okay to have your preferences, but be realistic.
Did she freeze, guys?
A little bit.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that's my take on that.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh,
What was the change?
I'm sorry.
She's frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Oh, there she is. and that's the other thing. It's true. I have to say, I agree with Marvin as well, in the sense that I agree with Marvin also in the sense that, you got to get to know somebody first. Are you good? You have to get to know somebody first, because when you lose the things that he said, and then, God forbid you don't have sex anymore, you better damn well know that you can still get along with that person. You know what I mean? We spend time focusing on the wrong things sometimes.
Yeah, but the other side to that, just thinking through, because of the conversation that I had with a single gentleman a couple of months ago, some you could, when you're friends with somebody, it has one, it's one conversation and you have like a certain energy. But I don't know, it just seems like once you decide that you want to cross over into that next, phase of becoming a relationship or whatever, the conversation changes. It's like if he's going to the store and he took too long, well, where were you? When it was if it's your friend, it's like, yeah, I'll see you when you get back. And it seems like you start to get a little bit more controlling and hovering and stuff when you say it's a relationship. Even if it was your friend at some point, it seems that when you cross that line, it changes. And that's why it's hard sometimes. I have male friends that are single, some married, divorced, or never been married, single, that I'm friends with, that I would never, good looking men, successful, and a lot of them may be in, the same field or things like that. We have a lot in common, but I would never try to get into a relationship with them because I value the friendship more, because I've just seen how relationships sort of just taint a good friendship, So it's like it's a balancing act, and then sometimes you have to make a decision, which is more important.
So how do you think that you're gonna get to know the person?
Right.
Well, so here's the thing. I think that if you're talking about someone that you meet and you want to be friends first, that's one thing. But if you're friends with a person first and then you try to go into a relationship, that gets tricky. So if you already go in thinking that it's going to be a relationship, but you're going to do the friend thing first, that's a really cute dance. And, and it's fun and all of that. It changes, I think that changes also, but it's a different dynamic as opposed to someone who has been a friend all along and now you want to get into a relationship.
I'm thinking, I wonder, I know this, and I think, Pam, to your point, I think that, most of us, when we meet a male, or I'm sure when we meet a woman, the first thing we do is size them up to see if there's somebody you can sleep with. If you're attracted to them in some way. So I don't know if most relationships are going to start out as friends. I mean, I don't know. I think we go in thinking we're going to be in a relationship, and that happens with a lot of women. We get to that base quicker than men do. We want, right away. We see well ahead. We see what the relationship is going to be like. We see the kind of we're going to live together, or we're going to get married. We see these things in advance. Whereas a man might be just looking to smash somebody, you know what I mean? So I don't know. And I know men and women can be friends, but I think that initially when you meet them, you're sizing each other up first for a relationship.
Yeah, I guess
and I think, sorry. And then I think that when men and women, when a man is attracted to a woman, he is looking for possibly to smash or a relationship and not looking just to be her friend. I don't think men are, I don't think they look at a woman that they're attracted to and they just want to be friends with her. What do you say about that, Marvin?
I
want to hear your.
I say initially, when a man look at a woman, it has to be something physically attractive about her to draw his attention, no matter what his likes are, no matter her size or her color, shape of her body, because there's someone for everyone. When you initially see the person, the physical appearance is what a man is looking at. Mm-hmm. All right, that doesn't mean you want to smash, but if he's not attracted to you physically, then he ain't gonna want to smash. So that never comes into play. Right. So the first thing is how you look, and everybody don't have to be beautiful, because, like I said, there's someone for everyone. But the initial thing is your appearance. Then when we begin to talk to you and get to know more about you, then that's when the relationship starts to build. But the first thing is sight, because you could look real good, right? And then you open up your mouth, and like
I think in all fairness, I think women feel the same way. I mean, we have to be attracted to the man. That's the first thing you see is how he looks. Are you attracted to him? And if so, then you're going to go over and talk to him, or at least whatever. But I think that's just human nature. I don't think it's any different for a woman.
But that doesn't mean no one's looking at the person to say they want to smash you.
I think initially, I think it is sexually. I think the sex comes first. I do.
For men, you
because
mean?
why are you bothering? Because why are you bothering to look at the body? Why are you sizing them up physically?
Yeah, why? What's the reason?
You want to see if they're steerable.
He might not just be the body. He might be attracted to the eyes.
Entertainer's face is like, really?
Let me ask you a question. A woman, and please don't take this the wrong way. A woman 250 pounds can't get a man.
She can, absolutely.
She can get a man.
That man looking at her, and there's something about that woman that attracts him to her.
Correct.
Now, I don't know if y'all want to think I'm gonna get all that. No, I don't think so. Just something, you got to be attracted to something about the person.
Right.
Can I just?
But it doesn't have to be.
Oh, let's hear from Shayna. I want to hear from Shayna.
I promise to make this quick, guys. I met my husband. We met on Jones Beach. This is like a million years ago. I looked at him and I knew. I just knew he was the one. And later, when we spoke about it, when we finally got past the "I'm too cute for you" stage, he's expressed the exact same thing. He said, "When I looked at you, I just knew, and it wasn't necessarily it wasn't a sexual exchange, but it was something about each other that just spoke to us, and we've been together ever since." That was like in 19. Okay, so like what I'm saying is, what you really. There's some credibility to everyone's argument. Everyone is in this case right. That's my 4 cents. Peace.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So, they say in the Bible, it's a good thing when a man finds a wife, or a man who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yeah.
So, does anybody agree with, like, it's their pick, it's their choice? I mean,
no, not their choice.
Yes. No, I
what does that mean?
Well,
Yes.
I say you can find whoever you want to, but that woman still has to choose you. So a man that you can think you found your wife, and I do agree, a man that finds a good wife has found a good thing, but that woman still has to choose you, because the whole myth that, oh, God chooses your spouse for you is not, I won't get into religion. That's not true. You get options. So when you say you think you found someone, then you may think you found someone and you can pursue that, but that person still has to choose you. So you can think you found me, but I can still be like, okay, well, you're a nice guy, but that's what I'm looking for, and I'm just speaking hypothetically because I am married. So, but you think you found whatever you want to, but you have options. So you may be presented with a good option.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
I agree.
You're cute.
Okay.
Yes.
So what about I mean, also we have ideas about the man that we want. Same thing, same list, same, you want, he needs to have a certain career, he needs to make a certain amount of money, all these things. But what if, now I lost my train of thought, damn it.
What I was going to say to that, Teri, is that I understand how a lot of women can have a lot of very specific, lists and criteria. But even when I'm thinking back, my criteria was very simple. You couldn't cheat. You couldn't treat me like a trophy. You had to be honest, and you had to have a code, like a moral code. It was really simple. And if you could fit in within that small criteria, then we could work. And then if not, I'll pass. You know what I mean? I don't think that criteria needs to be as extensive as a lot of people make it, is what I'm saying.
I totally agree with that, but I would just also add, I think you have to be on the same page, and meaning you have to have the same goals and be, looking for the same things, whether it's how many children you want, whether you want children or no children, or, what you're striving towards, and where you want to retire eventually, you know, when the kids are gone and all of that. So I think you also have to be into, in addition to what you were just saying, I totally agree, but you also have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
In what
Why?
way?
Because to expect someone to have the same goals as you is expecting too much. You shouldn't
Well,
expect
wait
them
a
to
minute.
have those, listen, you shouldn't expect them to have those same goals. What you should do is be able and willing to support each other in each other's endeavors and their goals. Because you might want to do something. You might like going to the beach. I might like skydiving.
Hmm.
All right. That's because, okay, we can't be together because
Marvin.
I skydive.
But that's an activity. That's not a goal. That's not what I'm
No,
talking about.
what I'm
That's an
saying.
activity.
I might, I might have,
That's an activity.
I might have a career, right? Or I might
Yeah.
want to open up a trucking company, and that's something you don't want to do, but you can support me.
Absolutely, and
my
that's what I mean. You're taking it too specific. Those, and like when you're talking about skydiving and whatever, roller skating or whatever, those are activities. I'm talking about actual goals, meaning, you know, listen, I want to have a family, I want children, and I want to, you know, own my own business, or I want to support you owning your own business, or I want, you know, certain things, you know, in life. I want to own a home together and raise our children together. I eventually want to retire together somewhere else, you know, those type of things. I want to own a home. Not everyone is always on the same page. Not everyone wants children. Not everyone is even into home ownership or, you know, goals as far as, you know, having your own business or, you know, that type of thing. So if you want to have your own business, and, you know, I have those similar goals, I will absolutely support you. I don't have a problem with that. But at least we're on the same page with that. I'm not expecting you to necessarily make six figures and, you know, immediately on the jump. You know, if we're on the same page, then I'm okay with you starting your own trucking company and starting from, you know, nothing. And then maybe in 10 years, we're finally, you know, doing well or whatever. I'm willing to work with you. But you both have to be on the same page as far as that's concerned. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Right. Yeah, I think
How would you account for changing
Marvin.
goals?
Say again.
How would you account for changing goals? Like if your goal, let's say you both agreed on something, right? And your goal over time, for whatever reason, may have transitioned or changed a little bit. How would you account for that? Like how would you kind of meet that scenario?
Again, I just think it's mutual respect, being friends first, knowing the person. And if you are, and you have that good foundation, that solid foundation, then you're okay with, you know, working into the new plan or, you know, whatever it is, because, you know, life changes. Everyone's plan is going to change, or, you know, everyone's life and ideals and things do change. But again, you have to be on that person's side 100% and really, you know, be friends and respect that person to be able to go through those ups and downs and changes.
It's interesting to know. Do you guys think that this is going to sound so silly, I guess, but you think real love? Does anybody still believe in love?
Of course.
Wait, in what way?
I mean, the love between a man and a woman. I remember the innocence. I remember the innocence and the, you know, when I first, when you're younger and you're like, you meet your first guy and, you know, the first real meaningful relationship, and you remember what that, how heavy your heart would feel, like, you know, heavy with passion, really, and, you know.
Sometimes that's lust and not love, and that's what
no, that's talking about love.
Yeah,
Puppy love.
Well, you guys know what I'm talking about.
I think that love does still exist, and I think it exists. It's probably more real now because you, like, when you get a chance to test, you know, relationships are put to the test, and then when you go through things together, and you know, you have that's that person that you think about often, or more often than not. That's love. Like, some people's ideal of what love is may not be real, or it may vary from person to person, and that's love. That love is real to you. like I know that Leora and I know Shayna, they love their husbands. I know that for a fact. You know what I mean? And I think, and that's their, what they measure, how they measure it, and what they value is real love to them. And for me, it may be something totally different because I just came out of a 28-year relationship. So my thing is going to be just a tad bit different, which is fine. You know what I mean? And, so I guess it depends on what you're looking for, but love is love.
Yeah, but and I suppose that brings me to my next question. Then, speaking of Shayna, speaking of Laura and them loving their husband.
I want to hear what he had to say.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Marvin has something to say.
Marvin.
Yeah.
She said 28 years she was in a relationship, right?
28 years of marriage, but 34 years in a committed relationship. Yeah.
So that time, I know you guys went up through your ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
You had problems. Love allowed you to be there.
Absolutely.
If you didn't love them.
Absolutely. And I know that's why I said I believe in love. I believe in love. Yeah, love is real.
Love allow us to be in relationship. Love allow us to put up with all the faults or just the crazy thing that our spouse or our significant other does. Like I might have a friend or a woman that she procrastinates all the time. I hate that. But if I love her, it allows me to stay and deal with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But then what happens, like just on to real talk, it then becomes a business relationship, and then you work out the business part of it, and then you keep it pushing. But there was a lot of love there.
Yeah.
And I would never ever deny that to anybody.
Well, but this brings me to the next question. And speaking about Shayna and Leora and how much they love their husbands, that's and Leora, I think you're a newlywed, correct?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak to Shayna then. So Shayna, back in those days, I mean, I believe in love too. Don't get me wrong. I believe in love 100%. I'm a sucker for it. But I wonder, what does that look like in today's relationships versus yesterday's relationships? It feels different somehow.
And I think it is.
People are different now. I think we all look at relationships differently now. We look at each other differently now. Like, is it just me, or does it feel different to anyone else?
It's different, period.
And what way, Shayna?
Why do you say that?
I think a lot of people are moving away from the traditional. I read one article where they were saying that there was a spike in committed relationships, but a drop in actual marriages. And they said that the trend was due to a couple of different factors. Some was the removal of old stigmas, like bastardization and, oh, you're shacking up with someone. So there's kind of a movement away from that. And then they had an increase in more people, women wanting to not have children, but really focusing on their careers, but being in a fully committed relationship. So you have a lot more instances like that. And then you had more people that were committed later in life. So let's say over 30, that's when they're moving into their commitments. And I think you're going to continue to see that trend, and possibly well on, where marriage is now an old thing and no one does it anymore.
I agree. And I think it's probably better, and it's real love now more so than before, because you are able to really be who you want to be and who you are, and people and that person are drawn to you, because women may have wanted to work back, during the time period where they stayed at home, and and they dealt with the family and all of that stuff, and they loved that, they felt like they had to love or be married or stay in that relationship because they had to do it for the kids. Where now women are so self-sufficient, and they don't have to deal with or tolerate a lot of the things that they probably did before. So if they're with you now, it's because they love you. Yeah. It's not because they have to be.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, and it definitely feels different these days, and especially now, and then as we get older, as we mature, our wants and needs change, our desires change. It's just different. You know, so yeah, I think it should get better with age, because like to Pam's point, now you know who I am, I know who you are, I know more what I don't want than what I do want, and I'm not gonna tolerate bullshit. Like I'm not gonna settle for your crap. Like I don't know, just some things you're just not gonna tolerate, like you would have maybe tolerated, when you were a little younger or in a different mindset,
Yeah. I just posted something in my on my Facebook story. I think one day this past week, and it was saying that single women, the longer that you remain single, the harder it is for a person to love you. And some of my friends were like, "Oh, that's not true. I don't agree with that. I don't care if they agree with me or not." But I kind of agreed with the statement, because it seems like the longer that you're single, the longer you get to know who you really are and the things that really move you or make your heart beat or make you, sing a certain way. And then if a person comes to you and they're not singing the right song or, playing the right beat,
dancing on the right beat.
Yeah, so it's like here's this picture, and if you're putting the wrong colors on your portrait, you gotta go, buddy. And then the longer that you're single, I think it's definitely it's going to be a big challenge for somebody to actually unless they have to come with something so dope, so like for me anyway, it's gotta be like off the charts, because I know what I mean. I just why should I settle for something you try to give me when I could do all that other stuff for myself? Anything
that brings me to my next question.
You give to me, I can do it myself. So what else? What you got, buddy?
Yeah, and that brings me to my next question.
Marvin saying something.
I'm sorry, Marvin.
I wanted to make a comment to that.
Yes.
She said the longer you stay single, will be the harder it is for someone to love you, right?
Yeah.
I believe the longer you stay single, it'd be harder for you to love somebody.
Well,
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I think that's more true.
It can make that way too.
Because you know yourself. You've gotten to know yourself. You know what you want. You know what you like. You know what you don't like.
Right.
And you know what you're going to tolerate. And unless you tolerate.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are all in agreement on that one, buddy. Because I tell you what, he got to be coming with some super duper. I'm glad I caught myself, because I'm typically saying some really crazy stuff. But he's got to come with something really special. I tell you that.
So that brings me to my next question. So speaking of women who, I could do this for myself, I make my own money, I have my own career. So what about when you hear women say they don't need a man? Do you believe that?
Yeah.
I can say something about that.
Yes.
I can say something about that. No, but I don't want to take it to the wrong place. But that has been indoctrinated into you guys. Like that's been planted in your mind.
Who planted it?
No.
No, I'm serious.
That's what I want to know. Who's the seed planter, honey?
No, because
the gardener.
It's like the destruction of the black family.
Okay.
You take the man out,
Right.
and then you allow the woman to have to fend by herself because they took the black man out.
So who are they? Oh, who are they? Who?
Just listen, because I don't want to get political with you.
You get political, because if that's a part of it, then that's what we want. Let's talk about it.
The government take away. They destroy the black family.
By incarcerating black men, are you saying they incarcerate black men?
Yeah, or just black men, the black family anyway. They're gonna take away the head, and then they're gonna put you on welfare, or they're gonna make you fend for yourself, give you a minimal job or whatever. And
we're talking about now or in the 70s?
No, it's happening now. It happened in the 70s. You can laugh.
Lene, you know what I'm talking about.
It happened in the 70s when they pushed the drugs in the community. But the key thing to it is they destroyed the black family. So once you took away the man, and the woman had to fend for herself for years and years and years, she got comfortable with that. And so she say, I don't need no man. And that destroyed the black family.
What's the white woman's excuse?
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
No.
Yeah, because I gotta disagree with that right now. I'm sorry.
Let me hear Lene. Let me hear Lene.
I don't think this is a black or white thing. I totally hear what you're saying, and I totally get it. I totally hear what you're saying. But there's a part of us that allowed that to happen. And I get it, and I know, the whole drug thing and then the incarceration thing of the black men and this, that, and the other, stop and frisk. We can go on and on and on and on. I get it. But we also allowed that to happen. But my whole thing is, I don't think that's a black and white thing, or a black thing rather. I just think it's a progression of women and of women now being in the work field, of course, and owning our own businesses and being able to support ourselves. And when women say they don't need a man, of course you need a man to have children. If you want children, of course you need a man to have children. But you don't necessarily have to be married now. We've erased that.
And you don't need a man to have children.
Well, that's true. You can go to a sperm bank and do what you do and whatever. But
you don't need a man.
What do you mean you don't need a man? You need the sperm.
That you don't need the man, you need the sperm. That's a portion of him. That's not him.
I get it. We can go into technicalities. But I understand what you're saying. But when you say you don't need a man, you don't need a man to raise your children anymore. You don't need a man because you're self-sufficient. You don't need a man to have children or to be married. You don't need to be married anymore. So I understand that whole thing. That being said, I think as women and as females, we still need companionship and that kind of close relationship, whether you're married or not. Because I totally will never, ever get married again. But
you say that now until somebody sweeps you off your feet.
Right? They have to have a big room.
You never know.
It's not necessary.
They better have a big.
I don't need to marry you. I don't need to marry you to be in a committed relationship with you. I want a committed relationship with someone.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem if you have your home and I have my home. We can spend a few days together, whatever, and but then you can go home and do your thing. I have my home decorated the way I want it decorated, and or whatever. But I think we still have our own space. But it's nice to be able to come together and have a committed relationship. I do want a committed relationship, but I don't need to be married to you because that does change things.
And so
at my age, because I'm finished with the children kind of thing. Right. I mean, I'm still a child, but
you said it would be nice to. It's a nice to have, but you don't need it. You don't need it. Right. It's nice to have.
Right, but I think I think that some women may say that they don't need a man because maybe they've just given up on love. They've given up on relationships. So they just say that just as something to say because they just given up.
Yeah.
I mean, dating is hard and just finding a mate is hard.
You can really feel that way.
And as they get older and older, it just gets harder. So maybe that's just something that people just say, well, I don't need a man, just to deflect from the issue of them not wanting to deal with all the problems of dating and trying to meet somebody.
Right, which confirms that you don't. If you say that, you're not saying it just because you have a mouth. You're saying it because that's what you feel inside. So, like what you said they're saying it just to say something, have something to say. I don't agree with that. Most women, if they're saying that, they mean that. It's not just because they are deflecting or because they feel like because they can't get one. Because I know for a fact that I could probably get. I mean, not to say not forever, whatever, but. I turn many people down, but because I don't want that. I don't want one. I don't need one. I'm self-sufficient. I'm self-contained. If I decide that I wanted to deal with one, there's plenty of options there. But I don't want it because I don't want to be bothered with one. If I chose that I wanted to be bothered with one, I would. But I don't need one. I don't need one. Like what you need them for? What need? I need water. Right. But I don't need.
But sometimes you need passion. you know, you need it and you wanted it. I mean,
No, I think there's a difference between need and want.
I think there's a
So
middle
you may
finger.
want something. That's what I feel like she's saying. I get that.
Yeah.
Some people want, they may want it at the time, but not need.
I think it's a want and a need.
Well, and then just going to
Marvin. Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
didn't get it. Well, I wanted to say something about what Marvin said earlier.
Yeah,
I didn't get to talk about what he mentioned when he said they are breaking up the black family and they this and they that. If you think about it, if you talk to every single woman that's on this panel right now, I'll bet you, and Shane, Leora, this is your second marriage. I'll bet you their first relationship, marriage, or who they had a kid with, I'll bet that relationship ended because he cheated on her.
I would bet
Y'all
that.
don't have to answer that, but think about it.
I would take that bet. I would make that same bet.
So we can talk about it all they want, but let's let men take responsibility for what they have to do with family breaking up.
Oh, that's good too.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What'd you say, Leora?
I think she froze.
Frozen.
Oh.
Can I say something to that really quickly? I want to say something to that really quickly. I totally agree that I understand what you're saying as far as, you know, men cheating on women. It does happen a lot and the majority of the times. But sometimes, you know what, you just make a mistake. You're just not compatible and you're just not on the same page. And it just doesn't work. And
Okay,
so
I'm bringing all that back to what Marvin said. He said the government's breaking up families. The families are breaking up for all different reasons. I'm trying to figure out who this government is that's breaking up these families, because I don't see that. I know in the 70s they used to, when women used to on welfare, they used to have to hide the husband. I saw Claudia.
Yeah, exactly, and that was the destruction of the black family.
Right, but
you can put it in the 90s as well. I mean, in the 90s, you had stop and frisk. No. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Marvin. I mean, you can go up to, like I said, the 90s. You got stop and frisk. That was a huge problem in New York City, locking up people for selling cigarettes on the street or whatever. I mean, like silly things. But I don't know. I think I agree with what you're saying, Marvin. But I think it's time for us to let that go.
Oh,
and
okay. I understand where you're coming from, and we're not gonna make it political. We're gonna keep it on the subject.
Everything is political. There's very few things in life that doesn't go back to politics in some way or another, whether it be a relationship or life outside of this. It's all political.
All right, so I'm gonna get a little podcast or Zoom, and we're just gonna talk about something else. Like we're gonna talk about the black family and how
we can talk about that on this platform.
Next week. That's the next subject.
But first of all, I wanted to ask all y'all: what if a man said, "I don't need a woman"? What would you think?
He's gay.
And he's not for me.
Men need women more than women need men. I'll tell you that.
What?
That's for sure.
I feel like men need women more than women need men in the long run.
Yes.
I believe we all need each other. That's how I'm gonna look at it. We all need each other in some aspect.
You see these eyes?
I think we could take a look
at sex more than women.
You know that.
Marvin, do you think men need sex more than women?
Yes.
Do men need sex?
That would be a yes.
Yes, you don't have to think that hard now.
That would be a yes.
It depends on the man and it depends on the woman.
Lord have mercy.
I can agree with that.
In general, of course. I mean, this whole conversation, of course, in general.
They got what you call freak, right? They call them a freak. It could be a man that's a freak. It could be a woman that's a freak.
That's gender.
High.
Okay.
So I mean, you don't know.
We're talking in general.
I could be with a woman that want to have sex every night.
Yeah, but again,
but I don't.
Again, I'm talking in general.
Right.
We're not talking personally. We're talking in general.
Right.
I think generally men, of course, need sex more than women do.
No, they probably want sex more than women do.
They don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a need, but I think it's a need. I don't know.
It's not a need.
I think it's a genetic thing.
You tell all those brothers or all those men that locked up in all these correctional facilities, if it's a want.
That's an easy target. You're
Excuse
locked up. It's an easy target.
What?
Listen, men have lost kingdoms for sex.
Thank you.
One night stand.
Woman.
Yes. On a one-time, dude will risk everything.
Yeah.
If that's just a need, then that's a silly man.
Exactly. You are absolutely right.
It's not a need. It's a want.
Then there's silly men.
All right.
They're silly men because, like, you risk everything just for sex. A woman could go without. A woman could, just put other things on her mind and just handle her business and all these things. But a man's always shucking and jiving, trying to figure out how much can he get. Which woman?
Risk it all over there.
Woman over there. It's all about sex all day with you guys. Like it's
not
silly.
Not nowadays. It's not.
Yes, it is.
What does that mean?
You need to go on Instagram. You need to go on check out these OnlyFans, Only pages. You need to do all that. You need to do all that. And see how
yes.
So
women go on somebody's Instagram page.
Women are doing it for. So here you go. Women are doing that for business, where men are doing it because they need to. Because they have a need. Women are doing it to make money.
Yep, and they have no intention of having a relationship. It's just about the sex.
Okay.
Yeah. They just want to smash because they want to see how much they can get. Like it's just
they want to another conquest.
Well, exactly.
And that goes to the next question. Well, we can move on to the next question. Why do Marvin? You could probably answer this. Why do men cheat?
Yeah. Why? Yeah, Marvin. Let's hear it.
Why do men cheat?
Why do men cheat?
Yeah, Marvin. Let's hear it.
Well, they got to be.
Okay. So if they're in a relationship, it's something about that person that they're with that's turning them off to the point where they're looking outside of the relationship to fulfill them in some kind of way. And
boy, stop.
I'm sorry.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
You think that a man who actually loves his woman, right? Love everything about his woman would just go out and just cheat?
Yeah.
And you think
that's happening.
I'm sorry you ladies done had relationships like that, but hey, it ain't that's not always true.
So what do you think turned Jay-Z off from Beyonce? Or what do you think turned
because she was out there too much?
I think that was an entanglement.
Not giving him enough attention.
Well, that was on another side.
I don't know. I think that and again, and like I said earlier, I think that you could ask 100 people that same question and probably get 100 different answers. Mm-hmm. But what I know from my experience, a woman doesn't have to do anything for a man to cheat. A woman can cook and darn and sew and cater and suck and do all these things that they do to please their men. A woman can be the perfect woman, and that man doesn't give a damn when he goes out there to do something else. He doesn't care. It's not about her.
And I think it's just for something new, just to do it to see if they can. Sometimes I think they do it for ego, and sometimes I think they do it because it's just to feel like what we talked about last week.
And they just
to feel that it's a character flaw, and so like they have to feel like they have come. Maybe the woman told them to take the garbage out one too many times. I'll let that bitch know, and then they're gonna go and and the next person who's not up their ass about doing something, she's making him feel like a man, so he's gonna go and run to her. Exactly. So it just goes right back to men that whole. I won't say it. I'm sorry.
They're just being selfish. It's just they're being selfish, and they don't care about anyone's feelings but their own. That's what that is. Yeah. It has nothing to do. A woman should never. And I'm telling you, like a lot of times when a man does that to us, we feel like we're less than. We feel like, oh, maybe I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not smart enough. You start to look at yourself, but it has nothing to do with us.
Right.
It has nothing to do with us. It's not like we're coming up short. We're not coming up short. It's just the man is being selfish and he's being, immature and he's being stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period. Like point blank period. Now what you got to say about that?
I'm curious to see what
you're gonna put it back on me, right?
Yes.
I'm curious to hear what you.
You
what
showed
have to
up,
say about that.
Marvin. We just want your answers. We want to get your perspective.
No, but I'm actually listening to y'all, and I can hear a lot of hurt.
Oh shit.
So I can hear a lot of, on the inside. Like y'all have been through a lot of some hell of a relationships.
I'm gonna get Shayna. Shayna's laughed a little
That's
too
really
loud.
cute.
Shayna,
Yeah.
I want to hear what
All
Shayna
right,
said.
look,
right.
this one right here. Excuse me.
Here's
On the screen. On the screen.
Wait.
Yeah. I
Seriously?
can't.
Oh,
Her name is Shayna. That's Shayna.
all right.
Shayna.
All right. Here's the deal.
Shayna.
Yes.
Okay. You've been married for how long?
Be 20 years or so.
How many years?
20.
And do you think your husband ever cheated on you?
I know for a fact he didn't.
He didn't, right?
How you know for a fact, Shayna?
So,
How do you know for a fact?
I know him. I know him. I know him. Period.
Women know when their men did something stupid.
Honestly,
I know every single time.
Anybody who dated before my husband, I always knew when they cheated, and I confronted them. I was like, "Yo, it's looking wrong. Prove me wrong." And if you couldn't prove me wrong, you had to get the fuck out. It was pretty simple. And most of them were. I don't think I was. My success ratio was pretty spot on because I always thought myself. So
Women know. Women know.
I didn't do that shit.
Right.
If he did, there'd be a bloody crime scene. He'd be dead. So would she. Like, fall out. Like, it wouldn't even be her fault. Like,
She's gonna get knocked out anyway, right?
Yeah, somebody's gonna go. It won't be me.
Anyway, right?
I genuinely think that if a guy's cheating, it's an insecurity within him that he hasn't found a way to address. It's a lack of emotional awareness on his part that has nothing to do with the woman. It's him wanting to feel like a big man, like, okay, that's great. You want to feel like that, but do what other people do. Go buy yourself a fucking car. Like, why do you have to tear down a whole person's self-esteem?
Right.
Just to make yourself happy.
And ruin your whole family and all that. Sometimes your business, your job.
It's always somebody that's not on that girl's level. If you ever watch it, there's always a disparity between the girl that was staying there and the one he decided to get caught with cheating. Period. Like a huge disparity.
It's also just an excuse.
Yeah.
It's an excuse.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question.
I'm curious to find out why Marvin thinks that there's hurt because we're discussing facts or
not.
It sounds like hurt.
Not hurt.
No,
not hurt where you're walking around carrying that on your shoulder, or you got a chip on your shoulder about it. Like you experienced hurt in your life with a relationship. I've experienced hurt myself. So
when you said it sounded like it was like a condemnation, like you women were hurt. So whatever you're saying doesn't have value. It's just speaking from a hurt perspective. That's what I felt.
No, I'm sorry about that. I can tell that you women are not broken.
Not at all.
Thank you.
Just from this conversation. We'll have another.
We've been through some stuff now.
Yeah,
we've been through some stuff now. We can say that.
Which
and still smiling and looking cute.
That's right. those experiences formulate your thoughts as to figure that all men cheat,
100%.
or no, just the guys that you dealt with.
Nah, most men cheat. Nah, most men cheat. No.
And I don't think that any of us said all men cheat. I don't remember any of us saying that.
No, we didn't say all men cheat.
I don't think we said all men.
Can we agree the majority?
I think majority. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I could go with that. I could go with majority.
I agree.
I could go with majority.
The majority.
Let me ask a question of the ladies right now, because Marvin talked about all those men that they are putting in jail. let's say those men do their time, they come out of jail. Would you ladies date them?
No, never.
No, absolutely not.
No.
I'm going to ask you this, Jackie. Why do you say that?
Well, any man that has done a significant amount of jail time, I'm just gonna have an issue with it. But first of all, I'm gonna say this. They may have had relations inside jail with another man. So I'm not going to even deal with a man that's been in jail for a significant amount of time. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Are they having sex with other men in jail while they're in there?
Yeah, because even
You
if
don't
it's
have to be in jail to have sex with another man.
I know, but I'm saying that goes on a lot in jail, in a lot of prisons, especially when they've done like 15, 20 years, 25 years and stuff like that. So.
Several years ago, they had a term, the down low.
Yeah.
Same thing. You just,
Yeah,
you
it's the
just
same
don't know.
thing.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
oh yeah.
You don't have to be in jail to go through that, but
Exactly.
That's
Because-
true.
But since we're talking about the jail thing, that is a concerning factor.
Yes.
You know, the other part is another conversation, but what Jackie's saying is a real concern.
Yes, that's a big concern.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, it's a real concern. I actually met someone. I never met this person in person, but we were talking, and he did say to me, you know, I really like you, and I was trying to save this for our first date. I wanted to tell you this, but I really like you, so I'm going to tell you now. He said, do you believe in second chances? And I said, absolutely, I believe in second chances. So he says, well, I did time. So I was selling drugs. I did time. I did 5 years. Does that change anything? And I said, that absolutely changes everything.
Yep.
Because I said, if I were talking to my girls, I would tell them, I would say, absolutely not. I would never date a guy who's been in prison. And so I told him, it could never happen because, like Jackie, I think that, you know, even if it wasn't consensual, somebody held you behind down in the dark. One of those nights. You know what I'm saying? And they have a term that I just learned today. I think it's called busting cheeks. Busting cheeks.
Oh, what is that?
I had never heard of it before.
That sounds very, very painful.
Busting if I got it right. And it's when a guy in prison, you know, they're gonna do you a favor, you know, help you out while you're in there, and now you have to do him a favor, and the favor is you have to do something with him sexually.
What?
And that's your repayment.
I think y'all been watching too much TV.
Mm-mm.
What is your perspective on that, Marvin?
Yeah, we would like to know.
No, actually, I don't think it just has to be in prison or anything like that. You can be anywhere. Right now, being gay is the in thing. Like people don't even know what their sexuality is, like metrosexual. So this is just prevalent right now. Just for people to be with the same sex is just the way times have changed. Plain and simple, the way people will start to think. Everybody's a free spirit, and two women with each other is cool.
Fluid. It's fluid, being fluid.
Yeah, I went to Atlanta, and I had to leave so fast. It was crazy, and that's just the way it is. Like I went to a party, the girls over here with each other, and the guys over here dancing with each other, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And that's just normal.
Wow.
So you ain't got
Atlanta's a whole other conversation. That we can do a whole show about that for sure.
What I'm trying to tell you is that is just how it is right now.
I wouldn't have that problem with my problem with dating someone that's, you know, done a 20-year, 5-year bid isn't necessarily, you know, what happened while he was there.
What the hell he do to get there?
What the fuck was you thinking? And if you was that fucking dumb, I don't need to rock with you because you stupid as fuck. Period. Sorry.
But you know me, I always have to look at I try to look at the, you know, all sides. there are men who, you know, may have been railroaded and gotten into the system because of a bad, you know, attorney or not having the right representation. And, you know, because you see some of them come out years later because of the Innocence Project and things like that. So maybe if they weren't, you know, guilty and ended up getting caught up in the system. But I guess, like going back to Teri's original question, and Jackie made herself clear on why she wouldn't be interested in dating someone who's been in the system. And everybody else said no. So I would love to hear everybody else's reasons on why they say no. And I hear you, Shayna. So now what about you, Leora, and Lene and Teri?
I'll go first. Yeah, to me, it's not necessarily the fact that if I heard someone was in prison, it's not that the fact that they have had gay sex in prison is not my first thought. My first thought is maybe, what did you do to get there? And I know there's a lot of reasons, why men have they've locked up our Black men and this, that, and the other. But my first thought is, what did you do to get there? And I'm probably not going to be able to have a relationship with you because it's not something that I morally would have done. I don't know, whatever it is. So it's just the gay sex thing is just not the first thing that comes to mind. Because again, I mean, down low is going on, and you can have gay sex and not have anything to do with being in jail. So that's not the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. It's just morally, what did you do to get there? And it's just, not something that I can probably deal with.
So that's kind of the same thing that Shayna said. What about you, Leora?
So
Leora?
I have to say, for me, it's the same issue. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're freezing up though.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have to say that I kind of agree with Shayna. For me, it would be like, why did you end up in there? Because you can have a person who is bisexual or secretly gay or on the down low or whatever outside of jail. So my thing is, what did you do to get there? Because if you beat up a child molester, then I'm not really holding that. I don't know if I'm holding that against you. You know what I mean? So that's my standpoint on it. I've never dated anybody who's been to jail before. So, but if you beat up somebody who was molesting a child, I'm not gonna hold that against you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
And I'm sorry. I just want to go back a frame because somebody actually said we were talking about why do men cheat, and someone actually said men cheat to feel cared for, absent of feeling struggle. Can anybody unpack that one?
No, I can't.
But we already.
How the hell are they cheating if you feel cared for when they got a woman at home caring for them?
Right, a woman I cannot into that. I think I might be able to. You want to go, Leora?
Was it Leora?
Oh, I was gonna say that I feel like we covered that in part of the segment, because really it's a selfish perspective. Basically, I cheat and then I'm gonna blame the woman for cheating. A man who's gonna cheat is just gonna cheat. A woman who's gonna cheat is just gonna cheat.
Yeah.
So if you're a cheater, you're a cheater.
Yeah, that's
You're not.
That's you're not in the world, but it's all bullshit. They can make any excuse in the world.
I think it's an excuse because, like, what they may say, like, because, like I said, I use taking the garbage out as an analogy, but if you may have a disagreement with your wife, or maybe she just felt like she was in some kind of shitty mood or whatever it was. The person that you're married to, you didn't get that, that cozy feeling, or maybe she may have said, you know what, don't touch me right now, because she's pissed off with some dumb shit that you did. And so she's not feeling you. Then you're gonna go out with your boys on Thursday night, and it's like, gosh, she said, "Don't touch me." Oh, I'm gonna touch her, and then it turns into something else just because they're being selfish and stupid. And then they'll go back and say, "I'm sorry, it didn't mean anything to me," and that just goes back to being selfish. And that's part of his weakness and or character flaw, as I mentioned before, that has very little to do with anything that happened with him and that woman. Exactly. At the end of the day, he wanted to do it anyway and found an excuse. war experience all
And
the
exactly.
Why do women cheat?
Most of the time, I think women cheat because they're retaliating against something because of cheating. It's usually retaliatory. And not that I'm saying it from experience, but I'm just saying.
But I think you're right.
No, because and we actually talked about that. We actually covered that in the last show, and we talked about why women cheat. And I'll say again, I think that by nature, most women are loyal. Most women, do the right thing by their man. They're not going to just go out there and cheat, unless, of course, we have to acknowledge there are women who are just whores. There are women who are just freaking whores and they want to have sex. But for the most part, I think a woman's going to cheat when a man has done something to hurt her.
Yeah.
Usually, he's cheated on her, so she's now going to go cheat on him.
Hurt people, hurt people.
That's it.
And that's a terrible thing, right? It doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
it is what it is.
I think it's what it is.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing.
Ridiculous. I think it's a terrible thing, and I think it's ridiculous, and it's something I've never done. I'm not going to do that to you because you did it to me. I'm going to get you some other kind of way, but I'm not going to go let some man run through me because he was stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no other way to get you but to leave you. Like that's it. If you know a man is cheating on you, goodbye. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did talk about that too.
Bye.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think, does anybody want to have, I think that's just about our show now. Does anybody want to have any closing remarks, any closing thoughts?
I think everybody should, I'm sure everybody want to make a little contribution to this segment.
We'll start with you, Renee.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was fun. I had a great time. And I want to do this next week with you, and we can discuss the whole family thing and men being locked up and by who, they've who has destroyed the black man and taken him from the black family.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah,
I'd love to talk about that. I think that's a whole nother subject.
That's a whole other subject. And Marvin, we'd love to have you back as part two to talk about that. I think that's important. That's something we should talk about.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Leora, any closing remarks? Leora, any closing remarks?
I'm kind of with Renee. I guess there's a delay, but I'm kind of with Lene on the whole talking about more about the family part. Who's destroying what? Do children really need their father? Because I hear a lot of I don't need a man, I don't need a man. But if you're having multiple children, do those children need their fathers? So I guess I'll talk more about that.
There you go. Jackie?
Yes, I enjoyed the conversation today. Yes, we definitely need to revisit some of the topics that we talked about. So yes, definitely.
Cool. Shayna.
I cannot wait for next week. To find out what you guys are thinking. Marvin, please be here.
Yes. Yes.
On the demise of the Black family.
Yes.
Specifically the male role in the Black family.
Exactly. Oh, that's going to be exciting. That's going to be good stuff.
Great.
Well, I'm glad.
Marvin, we thank you so much for being with us. I would like to hear you with some closing remarks. What your thoughts are, and if you'll come back and spend time with us again.
I think this is a beautiful show. I really do. I like you ladies' perspective because you get something from everybody, something good. Lenora, she got to stop freezing, I think.
Right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably her browser.
Yeah.
Whatever she's using, she needs probably.
It's not my browser. It's windy here. It's not my browser. It's windy here, and my name is Leora. My name is placed on the screen for your reference.
I couldn't read it because I didn't have my glasses.
Leora. It is hard.
Leora, that's when we get a little older than you.
Right. I need these to see because
Ain't no excuse. You can get on here. You can get my name right.
Say what?
You better read that.
No excuses. If you can get on here, you can get my name right.
Oh,
You
okay,
put
you're
glasses
right.
on.
Excuse me. No, it hurts
And
my
it's
eyes.
my internet.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
let's hear
Oh,
from
yeah.
Pam.
So, are you in New Jersey?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's pouring. The sky just
Yes,
opened
I
up
am.
out there. But so I'll
Yeah,
just
it's
say
so
as my
windy.
yeah, it's crazy right now. It's like the sky just opened up. But so what I'll say is that I think I think
Yeah.
this was a great conversation.
That's why my
Definitely a
internet.
great. It was definitely a great part to last week's conversation. So I guess, talking about the demise of the Black family by them would be a great topic to cover next week.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that I think was accomplished tonight is that it has been confirmed that men and women absolutely see things differently. If we haven't thought it before, it's confirmed, because I'm still stuck on him thinking that we were operating from a position of hurt. That was
I didn't say
interesting.
that,
Yeah, you did. But
but I
I'm
did.
But you do
You
know.
did.
I ain't say that.
You did.
You said
No, I
almost
didn't.
sound hurt
They're
to
gonna
me.
jump on me now.
That was what we anticipated.
But Pam, you do know men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
We've already conquered. They've
Absolutely.
been rocking spaceships to Mars. I think they're from someplace else, because there's got to be somewhere in there where they get it or see it. But so I'm not blaming it on Mars
Are
anymore.
you trying to say I don't get what you're trying to say?
I'm not trying to say that. I'm just
You are
saying it's interesting what you heard and what you surmised from what you heard.
No, I
That
heard
it's just
that there was some, you could hear that you've been through some things in your life where the hurt is in there.
no, well, see, yeah, no, but see, and that's
But
exactly, and
I wasn't
that's exactly my
I
point,
wasn't saying
because I think that
but I
every
was
single
not
woman up
saying
here,
but I
yeah,
was
you heard
not
it
saying
wrong.
what I wasn't saying that you guys are just bashing men or nothing like that. No,
No.
no, I
No,
didn't
We're
say
not
that.
bashing men.
No.
No,
That is how the
I
Black
can
Can I say
understand.
something real quick?
And
Can
it's
I say
definitely
something
not
real quick?
hurt, but it's definitely not hurt. I really just take offense to that word, because
Can I
it's
say
just
something
speaking
real
from
quick?
experience and perspective. And I think that when you articulate that, why does it have to turn into hurt and not just be you, giving your opinion about something?
We're talking about an experience. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
it's an experience, and with a smile, because it's funny. Because we are all like, every woman on here is like, seem to be doing great.
I just want to say something really quick. So Marvin, if we had all of your past relationship, the women from your past relationships here on the panel, would they
They
feel the same way? Would they be the same way?
No, they probably killed me.
Would they?
I think you invite one of them onto the show next
Yeah.
week.
Say what?
Would you
Invite
use
one
the
of
same
them onto
attitude?
the show next week.
One person. Invite one of them on the show next week.
Yeah,
Oh no.
I would love to get their perspective.
Mm-mm.
Would she be considered angry or hurt?
or cheated on
Of course, she could be considered angry and hurt.
and
Okay.
cheated on.
Not cheated on.
What you do, Marvin?
Kick their ass out.
He didn't take the garbage.
Right. Stop running out.
So she cheated on him because he would take the.
No. I ain't say I was cheated on.
I'm joking.
It just wasn't.
I'm sorry.
We wasn't compatible.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Before we close the show, I do want to ask Marvin this question. I'm so sorry. One last question. What if she did cheat on you, Marvin? How would you have handled that? How would you have handled the infidelity?
It would have been the same thing. I would have kicked
What would
her out.
that be?
She had to go.
You kick her out?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You kick her out. I bet you she wouldn't have kicked you out.
Out of the marital
Why not? Why do you say that? Why?
Why
Seriously, why do you say that?
Why? I say what?
That you would
No,
kick
I'm asking. No, yeah, I'm asking why. Why would you say she wouldn't have kicked him out?
No. Oh, they will. They'll kick a man out in a minute.
Teri, why do you say you don't think she would have kicked him out?
Oh, no, because I'm saying, oh, no, I don't know, you're speaking to me. I'm sorry.
No.
I was basically saying, generally, men cannot tolerate a woman cheating on them. But oftentimes, men...
No. Yeah. There are a lot of women that aren't going to deal with it either.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But there are women who will, and I'm just saying more than likely a woman will forgive, and a man probably wouldn't. Is what I'm saying.
That's true.
We need to get over that.
That's true.
Come on, ladies, wake up, get over it.
No, we definitely do, especially because life is short. Life is short, and there's so many other people out there that would
say next
and be loyal and be respectful. 100%.
Next.
100%. I get it. So with that is our show for tonight. I hope you guys come back. I hope that you'll all come back and join us next week. And we are going to have, I don't know, part 2A, I suppose.
Oh no, it's part 1 to the new topic about the destruction or demise of the Black family.
We are going to be talking about we're going to be talking about the breakdown and the destruction of the Black family in America. What causes that? So hopefully you guys will come back and see us next week. And with that, I'm going to say
good night.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Heard you get into it, well, let's talk about it. All day in the bank, let's talk about it. Spend a few checks, talking cheap change, well, let's